All right, hey guys, what is up? It is Bibzuda back here once again on the Outlast trials, and I am going to be going over the latest patch notes that have been released for the new event, which just started today, which is called Project Prime or Prime Time. As you can see here, we have it now, the experimental therapy, Prime Time, multiple Prime assets present in the trial. And this did come with some patch notes, so we are going to be going over those. It's not a lot, so this will probably be a pretty short video, but I think it was worth it to review the things that they mentioned. First off, we knew about these buffs that Coil and Gooseberry were going to be getting for the event, where if Gooseberry hits you, you start bleeding, and Coil can disable your rig. Turns out these are going to be permanent additions to the game, which are going to be affecting the Prime assets, which I like a lot, actually. I like them having these little additional effects because although they did do, I believe, as a standard 3 bars of health damage as opposed to the 2 of a larger X-Pop without any modifiers, that being their only difference was a little bit underwhelming. Like they were the Prime asset, but they weren't really that much that separated them from a normal large X-Pop. But this is a cool thing that they've changed and included to make it so that there's now a larger reason to be more afraid of them than maybe you were before because of these additional effects. So pretty much Gooseberry will hit you and will cause bleeding, which does damage over time. And there's a new item, which is bandages, which are found in the trial, which you need to use to stop the bleeding. And then Coil will disable your rig for 20 seconds, which, in my opinion, Gooseberry's effect is much more impactful than Coil's. I mean, a 20-second disable on your rig, you probably would have already used your rig before getting hit in the ideal scenario. And otherwise, I mean, a 20-second, you're probably going to be able to run away and avoid him for 20 seconds if you really need to. But yeah, so maybe that should be a longer amount of time, or I thought it was maybe going to be for the entire trial that he would disable your rig, which would have been really impactful. But at least currently that is not the case. I wouldn't be surprised if that time got extended, though. So those are some cool special effects that they have added to the Prime assets. And then, of course, they went into details about the event. Now, the event runs from today, May 28th, until June 18th. So, yeah, that's about 3 weeks of time you have to complete the event. I think that's the same as others have been. And there's a new secondary objective in the event. I haven't actually looked at the trial list, though, here. So this is going to be my first look at the trial list. Let's see what we've got. Prime time. So we have kill the snitch, sabotage the lockdown, shut down the factory. And yeah, Prime time is a variator. And then there's this new secondary objective of break the televisions, which sounds kind of interesting, at least more so than just find the rats, find the gifts, find the posters. There's actually a different one this time around, so we'll have to see what that's about. But these first 3 just have those 2 variators, it looks like. So yeah, cool to see. Shut down the factory. The new MK challenge is back, and we can do that one again. And also tilt the scales of justice I see down here. Then we have cleanse the orphans. Oh yeah, and then the tokens, you get 2 for this, 1 for these. And you do get the reagent release tokens, which I'm happy to see. Toxic Shock, you did not get the reagent release tokens from the event. I'm glad they changed that here. Cleanse the orphans, you get 2, you get 3 primetime tokens, and it also adds in stronger enemies. And then we have tilt the scales of justice and gather the children of God with those same variators. So that's pretty cool. Looking forward to getting back into these 2 new ones. Shut down the factory, tilt the scales of justice. Then moving up to 4 variators. This one added on stronger enemies, and now we're adding on increased threat and then unreliable doors as well. However, Vindicate the Guilty still only giving 3 tokens, as same as Cleanse the Orphans, interestingly. So that's a difference there. Then we have Foster the Orphans and Drill the Futterman. And then I assume this is going to be Ultra. And it is, yeah. Grind the Bad Apples on Ultra. That is going to be tough. What is currently in Ultra? I haven't looked at it in a while. Yeah, so Grind the Bad Apples is currently in Ultra as well, but with the event and having 2 Prime assets, that's going to be really hard on Ultra, I feel like. That's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that. And then you get the poster for the event, 5 tokens from this one, and then, your normal rewards. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into this. This is a pretty cool trial list. We're missing Pervert the Futterman, but that kind of makes sense. That was in the last event. And yeah, a good mix of MKs for sure. Notably, more of the longer MK challenges, there's no release the prisoners. Sabotage the lockdown is a pretty quick one that you can run through, but you only get 1 token for that. So it's going to be interesting to see what's the best way to farm for this one. Because, I mean, you only... Oh, wait, what? This must be bugged, I would say. Because for some reason you're getting 4 event tokens for these MKs, but then for the full trial Vindicate the Guilty, which is the same variators, you're only getting 3. That has to be incorrect. Vindicate the Guilty should probably be giving 4, and then the MKs should be giving 3. I would assume that is what it is intended to be. But hey, if that's not changed quickly, maybe you can take advantage. I would assume maybe like Drill the Futterman here will probably be the best for farming the tokens. It's not going to be worth it to do Grind the Bad Apples on Ultra for 5. Even if this was only 3, you can definitely do 2 Drill the Futtermans before you can do 1 Grind the Bad Apples easily. So, yeah. But I'll make a video on what I find out to be the best one, probably. But, yeah, this is pretty cool. I'm looking forward to this event as well because it's not going to be having to hide and wait for a while, which was kind of annoying in the other events. But anyway, yeah, that's the trial list. And also you can see, of course, we have the prime time tokens here, but they also added your reagent release tokens to the HUD, which I think is good. It was kind of annoying having to go check with the dude at the desk so often to see what your tokens were at, so I'm a fan of that. Yeah, of course, there is a bunch of new rewards you can get with those tokens. They have a spaceship legendary bundle, so I assume that the legendary stuff is available right away, so we can look at that, but then the others you have to unlock. Yeah, so this is the outfit, and it's actually pretty cool, called Big Fish, They'll Never Catch You. I wish... Okay, I can... Oh, wait, can I not zoom it? Okay, so I guess I can't rotate it around without owning it, or maybe I don't know how, but overall, pretty cool looking outfit. Can I unfocus, please? Thank you. Or I guess we can rotate it around and then look. Yeah, so pretty cool outfit, definitely... you know, pretty along the same lines as other legendary outfits in the game. Kind of looks similar to this one a little bit with the color scheme and the stuff like that. But yeah, pretty cool one. And that's 20 tokens as is usual. And then there will probably be a bundle here in the room. Yeah. Whoa, this bundle is sick. What? Spaceship. It turns like it totally transforms your room. That is an awesome bundle. I am definitely looking forward to getting that. Changes everything. Changes the counter. I mean, every other bundle isn't even close to as impactful. Obviously, Toxic Shock has some stuff, but that is by far the most detailed and cool bundle they've had yet. I really like that. I'm looking forward to buying that for sure. Wow. Very well done. So that's awesome. And then we also have, of course, the other rewards that you'll unlock as you go. Space Lamp Epic Cell item, Hyper Modernist Television Epic Cell item, etc., etc. And of course, there's the legendary poster for completing the event. I'll do a showcase of all the items once I get them all, so you don't have to worry about that. And yeah, so then they talk a little bit about how the bleeding and the disabled rigs. Then we have the new item of bandages, and bandages can be found scattered throughout the trials. They're like any other item. And using them will stop your bleeding, and you can also use them, it sounds like, even if you're not bleeding, to heal yourself for 50 HP. And if you don't know, each bar of health you have is 25 HP, so these heal you for 2 bars of health. However, they do take time. It says using bandages takes time. This may leave you exposed. They also made an adjustment as a result of this to make it so that large medicine will spawn at a lower rate and will only be found in locked containers. Large medicine heals you to full from any point, so that's interesting. It was pretty strong just having it scattered around that you can just find in containers and stuff. So especially with the addition of this heal item, which the bandages do of course heal more than a small medicine. So that is that makes sense that they would make the large medicines less common, and also they are only in locked containers, like I mentioned. Actually, I forgot I already had said that. But yeah, other than that, there was a pretty short list here of changes to fixes or additions or balancing. No changes to rigs, once again, which is kind of surprising. They've made it so that your group is now in the pause menu here, which I guess is good. It's not something I ever really looked at too much. The badge menu is now a scrolling list instead of pages, which is obviously better. Let's see what else. The terminal will now show a notification when something new is available. So like when the weekly changes, you can probably, or I guess I did look at it, but that the terminal down there had an exclamation on it, like other things do when there's new stuff. So that makes sense. Like when a new weekly comes out, I'm sure that will show up. And then they have the updated medical items. So bandages that'll heal for 50 and resolve the bleeding effect. They will have a high spawn rate, it says. Small medicines, which are unchanged as far as healing, and they heal 25 HP, which is 1 bar of health. Those will have a medium spawn rate. So you're going to be getting more bandages than small medicines, which is interesting. I guess makes sense if gooseberry is going to cause bleeding. You're going to need to find those at least with some amount of consistency. And it is... it's kind of interesting there as well because they heal for double the amount of these small medicines. So even without bleeding, that's still going to be make it a little bit easier to heal if you weren't someone who had large medicines carrying around before. And then they changed the large medicines, as I already mentioned. There's also been some tweaks to 3 different amps. Hide and Restore, which is an amp that I have mentioned potentially using before, is the one that makes your rig cool down 50% faster. Says that this can be used to counter Coil's rig disabler. So I'm not sure if that means it just won't happen, or if you just need to hop in a hiding spot and then your rig will be available again, or will no longer be disabled. That would be pretty cool. I think it's nice to have like additional buffs to these existing amps. And then Hide and Heal, which is also in this category, will counter Gooseberry's bleed ability. So I guess you can probably jump into a hiding spot and your bleeding will stop. That is my assumption with those. Additionally, they have tweaked Invisible to make it so that enemies can still perceive the player when they are very close. So, Invisible was very strong, I think, but this doesn't sound like it's really going to make it that much worse, because as long as you don't peek out of the hiding spot, you can still like run around a corner and jump into it and they're not going to pull you out. I mean, maybe I can quickly hop into a trial and test this out while we're here. Can be good to have a little testing part. What'll be a quick way to find... there's that guy in Cleanse the Orphans who is out front usually, so we can do that. And then they said fix an issue where some enemies would appear invisible. I never encountered that. Fix an issue where door traps and some other items would become invisible while using X-Ray. I've never used X-Ray personally. Fixed the rarity of the Toxic Shock poster, various fixes and improvements. So pretty much a pretty short list there. And all of the amp changes were to amps in the skill category, which, as I've mentioned several times, is the amp with the highest competition for, or the category with the highest competition for good amps. I wish they'd revisit maybe one of the other 2 categories and give some touch-ups there, but this was a pretty small patch, and that's what I expected given the fact that the event did release by accident briefly the prior week. But yeah, I'm going to be jumping into these event trials and doing my videos on them. And I'll, of course, again, as I said, do a breakdown of all the cosmetics and a recommendation for the trial to run if you want to grind the event and get all the items with the tokens. But yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy with the update. Definitely am a big fan of the release tokens being added to the event, so you can receive them now. And also nice that they are on the UI. And yeah, I'm looking forward to jumping into it. I'm like weirdly off center in the chair, kind of. Whatever. But yeah, it definitely sounds like it's going to be a fun event, and I'm glad they did those buffs to the Prime assets and everything. But okay, let's see how we do with Invisible here. So we have our lockers here that we can come back and hide in. Hopefully this guy is even here. I don't even know if he's out here on... Crap. He's not out here on Genesis because it's like a lower number of people. Well, I'll just quickly go and do the radio and then get into a chase here. I just want to test this out and see if it does in fact make a big difference to how Invisible ends up working. But just from the wording of it, it sounds like it won't. Because, it was nice being able to peek, but I mean, if you can't peek, it's not the end of the world, right? But let's see, who can we find? Any enemies around? Can we like smash on some planks here? Nobody's nearby. This is the problem with Genesis, it's just too easy. Speaking of Genesis, though, I do still need to do another, maybe I'll run through some points here. I do still need to do some more of my tutorial series. I was a bit busy this weekend, so I wasn't able to continue that, but I will definitely be back at it after I cover the event, because I'm sure, as usual, there will be a bit of a time where I've completed the event, and it hasn't, it's still ongoing, hasn't ended yet. I can't even find anybody, bro. There's Gooseberry. Okay. Hey, Goosey Goosey. Okay, so she's running. I'm going to jump in this barrel, and I'm not going to peek. Okay, she's like right there. Okay, so yeah, I mean, debatably she would have checked that if I hadn't had invisible. Who knows? But let's see what the bleeding is like as well. Where's she? She's over here. Hey, Goosey Goosey, give me a schmack. Ah! Okay, so there's like a new animation on the health bar. That's pretty cool looking, actually. Okay, so you are bleeding and you are slowly losing health. Find bandages to stop the bleeding. And it's like dripping on your UI. Okay, and yeah, it's actually pretty quick, in all honesty. Oh, hey man. Excuse me, I'm trying to find some bandages. And so yeah, okay, so it stops after you lose 1 bar of health as well. Okay, that's good to know. So it's not as dangerous as it sounded, I guess. You can't just bleed continuously and then die from it. I'm trying to find some bandages as well, and then I'll probably leave the trial. But yeah, that looked pretty good. The health bar animation was pretty clear, and of course so was the dripping blood on your screen. It definitely was, no doubt about the bleeding. Okay, so here we have the bandages. They kind of look similar to the ones from Outlast 2 a little bit, and they have that little icon for your inventory. And oh, bandage gauze roller, 5 inches by 12 yards. Wow, that is pretty long. Sterile. Hold to apply. Okay, so, oh wow. Okay, so that is pretty slow. Wait, what if I stop? Oh, okay, so you can like stop partway through and only have healed for a certain amount. But if you do the whole thing, it will heal you for 2 bars. Okay, that is interesting. Definitely an interesting new mechanic there. Yeah, that's how the bleed works. That's how the bandages work. I don't think we really need to demonstrate how Coil's thing works. It's pretty obvious. He hits you and your rig is disabled as if you were in, like a rig disabled area for 20 seconds. So yeah, I think those are good changes, and I like the fact that they now have a defining feature between themselves. Like before, Gooseberry Coil weren't really that different either, but now they're also distinct between each other and between the other X-Pops who are around the place. So overall, cool. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I did want to quickly look around the sleep room because they usually put up some posters or some. Yeah, so we have the MK Project Prime little poster here of Gooseberry's drill. Let's see, is there any other additional decorations they've added for the event? Possibly not. Oh, they have Coil's baton as well. May temporarily disable rig. Yes, indeed. And what does it say? May cause may cause arterial/fatal bleeding. Okay, interesting. All right, very cool. So yeah, pretty cool start to the event. I'm definitely going to be jumping in to it and making some videos on the trials. We will be starting out with Kill the Snitch, and yeah, should be pretty fun. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you for the first event video.